The Gatekeeper. A little rat was scurrying along the woodlands. Over roots and through tall grass, it dashed through the autumn night. Through the falling leaves, I saw her, approaching me with an aura of distress. I did not move an inch. Despite the moon having been gone for years, the forest was anything but dark. Flickers of light seemed ever present, emanating from excitement and wonder of those passing me into the deep behind me. Most of them walked calmly, but some of the pilgrims burned too hot to touch, and so I could give them no comfort. This rat, unlike all the others, hadn't come here to pass through. It was far too early for her. Instead, she stopped in front of me and started crying. She did not want my comfort. She was here out of sorrow, but she couldn't attack me, for I wasn't there. I did everything I could, but my brother's curiosity has overtaken him. He went in this direction. "Will he come back?" she asked. I replied, "No. The cliff is too steep to climb once descended." She thought I was the one sending them down there, but I am but a humble gatekeeper. As any scared rat would, she asked me a million other questions. I am a merciful being, and so I let her hear the answer to one of them. "The deep. I've heard varying tales of what lies therein. Is it through there that one escapes from the forest into the real world?" I told her that I knew as little as she did about what lies down those cliffs. However, if curiosity or boredom finds you, I told her, the deep will always be where the lost can find a home, where the tired can rest, and where the adventurous can explore where no one else has. To me, those would be the words of comfort, but away she ran with terror in her eyes. Back through the woods, the same way she came. She had too much attachment left for this forest of old to long for the deep. Eventually, however, the beauty of the woods won't be there anymore. For that time, I will be here, to give everyone left a guiding hand into the safety of the dark. The rat will be back in time.
Something is here, felt as if given to no one, and felt as if given to the strict ridden hive mind abodes. I feign on my way to close the door. I feign on my way to awaking. I awake on my way to fainting. Reading in Third's Child Jackhammer Wasp to a bring little being little wasp a 2 for the inedible amalgamation a wasp a little too much is what I hear as I flick through the radio channels. It's strange how you can go through the radio channels and create alienated sentences. You're well aware that the sentences are created in an artificial sense, but you still do it. You do it until you feel something there. Something is here.
Walking down the forest, trying to obtain some form of understanding. Understanding for what? I don't know. Why would I? I just simply know that I'm gaining something from being out here. I don't need to know a linear meaning. I just know that the meaning is there. Hey look, it's the lake. Pretty as a picture. Not as pretty as a literal picture. I mean a picture you imagine. A picture that doesn't physically exist, but whatever exists in your mind still exists. You could convince yourself that something that doesn't exist does indeed exist, and you wouldn't be able to tell, since it would exist to you. I start to understand, walking down the forest.
Stilly stillness stealing movement, movement depleting, depleting in thirds, not depleting in thirds. It's not depleting in thirds. Do you want to know why? Because stillness can't be comprehended that way. It's a concept, although it isn't a real concept, because I'm quite sure that a stillness in time can't exist. Time is incomprehensible. Movement is a shadow attached to an existence that we don't understand. Meaning in meaning, the meaning a meaning, for meaning in meaning, the meaning a meaning, for meaning, the meaning in the thought of stopping in the air. Complete and total stillness. Stilly stillness stealing movement.
Silky mountains, the size of a sky leading, and leading beyond a sky, and sky high is bye-bye for perceiving far beyond. The mountain swerves around what I can see, only around the end is the swerve end. Meaning that beyond the end is what I cannot see, space taking up space, time taking up time, something taking up something. Am I really missing out on seeing anything beyond what I can already see? I don't know of its existence, so it entirely doesn't exist. If a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Silky mountains.
Detained allocations in swimming summarisations, spiralling again, spiralling in tune. When you concentrate on the portrait, you're constantly perceiving the more you fail to understand it, detaining yourself from your own illusionary understanding, welcoming in incomprehensible insanity. It takes a little here, a little there. A little turns into a bit here, a bit there. It expands until you don't know what anything is. Once you open that door, the hinges tend to bulge in and out of existence. Detained allocations in swimming summarisations.
Walking along sandy sand, Vince sighed subconsciously. The sand was coated in colors that spiraled through and around its form. Vince walked along the sand, looking directly at it, not wanting to know what existed beyond his current point of view. The sand was all he wanted to know. You could call it bedazzlement. You could call it sadness. There isn't a way of knowing. It must be a concept that you don't understand, but yet you know that it exists. There isn't anything else projecting from Vince's roll of film in his consciousness besides the sand. A lot of sand is being projected at the moment. Vince sighed subconsciously, walking along sandy sand.
Tasteful discomfort. Vince started to hear his subconscious sighs turn into subconscious sentences. When will I be finished with this sand? Vince eventually started to look up, subconsciously commanding his body to tilt his head upwards. What he saw was a desert, filled with surrealistic multicolored sands. The sky was tainted with a red hue. Washed so bland was his mind for wanting to look down. Looking up was better. Far better. Vince stopped walking to fully comprehend what he was seeing. He looked around. He looked at the red expanse above him. He looked to his left. He looked to his right. He looked back down at the ground. Tasteful discomfort.
Things don't make sense if you look at it in a certain way. Things that you know are a certain way get bended to the nth degree, to the point where you can't understand what it originally stood for. Once the mist gets beckoned away, you can see the real meaning behind everything that ran away from you, representing your biggest struggles and fears, knowing not of what you thought before it came back is the way to prosper. But some incomprehensible things will always remain in the mist. Things don't make sense if you look at it in a certain way.
Gone for a prospect, gone for meaning left unturned in the snow. Where is what, and when is where, when time is indelibly stained on your canvas. Your canvas roughly pierces through another canvas. Does this eliminate a canvas, or combine two of them together? Do you believe in a form of elimination, or a form of amalgamation? Make of it as you will. Making of anything as you will is a concept written in a strong amalgamation. Gone for a prospect.
Abound in the top of a castle, stringing together recollection. Lester was his name. Lester wanted to remember why he was at the top of a castle. Lester's memory was like an hourglass with sand slipping in and out of the two compartments. Did Lester live in a castle, or has Lester never been in it before? He wonders. There isn't a whole lot Lester remembers, but at least he knows the common ground of knowledge. That's all you need. Abound on the top of a castle, stringing together recollection.
I am a me. Everyone is a me. The only way you can't be a me is if you didn't exist entirely. A concept of which is unthinkable because you do exist. You will never know what it would be like to have never existed. You are me. I hope that you understand that. It's an understanding that is understandably vague. In its execution, in existence, I am a me.
Beckon, back here. Where to is too distasteful of a question to ask, distorting the apparent sweetness of the situations to that of confusion and delay. Respond out of kindness. Respond out of sympathy. Respond out of the I need to of your brain, not out of the I was beckoned to of your brain. As with all things, the lights depict what your head sees, while everything else outside of your head isn't there. Everything exists in your head where it remains. It will not leave unless you told yourself that it was never there in the first place. Where the beckoning is gone, the beckoning is back again, for the show that never was. Beckon back here.
What is a form? Forming an alliance of a nullified norm? Yes, to exclaim, no to my brain. Exclaim the parentheses in a mind dwindling past the present and the future tense of the past. Where is a what in the name of the world? Where is a when nothing is deterred to serve a fallen king? A very special fallen king. A king to be fallen in a tense only know as the now, as if signs of laughter were too much for the mind. Where tings and tangs and zings and clangs are in fruition, nothing can save the norm. What is a form?
Leaving everything behind. Leave that there, leave this here. Leave and know nothing in this world of mine. In this clean disposable world of my form. A form given, a form that was never asked for. Wind blows atop a place of pure anguish, never to sever any form of rage, rather to conceptualize it. Gone with the wind and gone with the conceptualizations. Gone with all of it. I just want to leave it behind. Leave it I will, and leave it I must. For an eye is an eye in a world devoid of anything other than the world of my mind. My mind is a universe, as is with every mind. As is with every form. Nothing that never existed can't be null if it could exist outside of your universe. Leaving everything behind.
Pain fore. Nothing abound in the strings of thought. Not this time anyway. I silently recall my first memory, when I couldn't remember. When my perspective calendar mind was as perceptive as an infant feline, I comprehend, but I didn't grasp anything. Much like how an animal would look at a technological screen and see nothing but flashing lights and hear confusing sounds. My field of perception hasn't changed. I can still use my senses. What has changed is me. Pain fore.
"Hello," said the mouse. "Greetings," said the snake. "Down this narrow path is the way to Rottenburg," the mouse informed. "I assume you needed my assistance?" "Not exactly," said the snake. "I only require one thing." "And what is that?" the mouse timidly asked. The snake's elastic head slimely hovered over the mouse all the while. The snake repeatedly licked the air, sensing the misty aroma with his tongue. The snake's face got right up to the mouse, showing great enthusiasm for what he was about to say, or do. "I was wondering if you'd want to come to my party," the snake excitedly exclaimed. "Oh, really? That sounds really swell, but I've got work on right now, you know, guarding these narrow paths and whatnot." "What? I didn't hear that." The snake suddenly remembered that he didn't have any ears and therefore wasn't able to hear anything the mouse could potentially say.
The woodsman was unlike any other man, bound in darkish clothing, stricken of the night, not knowing of the normal man's plight. Away in the wind he would swirl about, in nothing but the wind's shout, and if in utterance was to blame, the woodsman lost his name, sent to the edge of the most prominent ledges, finding life in beckoning strife. Where was the woodsman to go when he'd nullified the status quo in a land unturned by wretched faces, a land built upon worldly graces, nullifying the vile in his twisted bread and smile. The woodsman wasn't like any other man.
This is a place of anguish, Kyle said. A place of anguish? This looks more like a place of utterance left unturned in the snow, said Jude. I personally think it looks more like a place that would belong in a picture, said Zoe. It looks as pretty as a picture. I don't see that at all, said Kyle. This place is as pretty as a fragment of snow left turned in an utterance. You guys need to calm down, Jude stated. We see this place differently. What we need to realize is that our own individualistic views formed by individualism are that of which were given to us. We didn't choose our DNA. We didn't choose our personalities. We don't have real control over our beings. Fate is real in a scientific form. This is a place of anguish, Kyle.
When is me? What is anything in thirds? I don't see it, but it's right there looking at me. Where do I go from here? I can see the whole world through my fashioned telescope of thoughts and feelings left unturned in the snow. Where is the place that I call home? Home is everywhere. As long as you can perceive, you have a home. You will never leave your home. You didn't choose to be stuck in your home, but yet here you are, stuck in your home. Where isn't anything in the place of anguish? That is simultaneously my question and also not my question. That is so when my own self decides what I think. When is me?
Clawing my way into time. Time for me to dine in the expanse of time and space. Oh, gloriously attached to thine and laughter, now to present myself. Self is where to indulge. Where is it in the night when I am asleep? It's far away, while my other self is laid down. What do you pay for when the streets of a place of anguish give off impressions of a night everlasting? No, it isn't for me. Take that away, please. Does it look like it wants to stay? No, it doesn't, so you might as well take it away. Take it away. Take it away to a place beyond. Take it away to a place of anguish. Take it away to a place left unturned in the snow. What else is there to be said that has already been said in the future? Clawing my way into time.
Null and all. Null is gone for a time spent being in my own nullified world. Where is a null? A null can be for me if it wants to. How the servants be. Paint it's great. I paint time for you and me. I paint time for everybody. I meant myself. My own former self that I possess. It's a very nice dress. 1 by 2 by 4 nothing left for the door. The door left stricken by thoughts and feelings that were never there. Fortified and angry all the same, for nothing that was nothing, and now it seems to be alone. Where is a we, for knowing me, where is a known, by nothing, I. Gone down to the reaches of Null, and I am along, and I am along. Never sever that endeavor, Null in all.
Now I've created my own monster. Dwindle away for the sake of I. Killer 50 in all in anguish. Lights a bottle in thirds for I and me in nothing top C in all and for an I for isn't fair to say. What isn't a we in the situations that depend on deleting high? How isn't where exactly? I never knew that. And where do you think you're going? You little base and nothing isn't well. We had null. When exactly is the fishiest little thing I've ever not seen it? Ever not seen it? When exactly? Okay, now I can see it. Put a bit more on top, please. Nothing I can't grow isn't nothing I can't grow. Now, I have created my own monster.
Nicely done, little thing. Now then, where is it? I don't know. Then and where for me? No thank you. It's not that pleasant, though. I asked for pleasant, not this stupid idiocy. I'm not sorry at all. No thanks. I don't accept. Nope, not for me anyway. Don't believe in me. What? We're flying now. What? Don't you see it? No thank you. That's not for me. Now for the big finisher. What? When is it going to start? Right now. NOEDIOVWONTHGIR. Ha, it's not there, is it? Congratulations, you figured it out. No rot? Yeah, rot. No thank you? Goodbye. There's no goodbye for you. Yes, sirree, no in. Nicely done, little thing.
Inanimate is I. For an eye is an eye because I can never be an eye prescribed as my eye. Now it's time for me to silently think about what I've just said. What I've stated doesn't exist. It didn't to you anyway. Because you never comprehended it until now. So why is Norigi plus he wears the idolation? Well, take it back, please. Okay, but then only if you promise to never understand the feelings and the peelings and the peelings and the feelings. No. What? No, the disc you. No thank you. Inanimate is I.
This place is like a cathedral. It's just like my normal home, but it reminds me of a cathedral. I don't know. I think it looks kind of cool. It's not very inviting, though, with all of the dark colors and whatnot. I guess now I'll have to go to a place ridden of such things to change. I need to change for them. Running around in circles, that's what it feels like. Nothing ever changes, and nothing ever seems to get bright for me. I will change, I say. Only to not. And when will the change take place? I don't know. Why are you asking me? If only there I knew the best time and place to change. Will it ever happen, though? Probably not. This place is like a cathedral.
And now I'm gone. Just like that I represent your nightmares. The good ones. The ones that I love to live in. Never to see anything other. That's the way to go. That's the way we all go. But for the crossing is left for nothing other than a sweeping of worlds left unturned in the snow. And now nothing is left for the masses to feed on. If only then and only then they would see that there's nothing to gain. I'm here to educate. I'm here to expand the horizons. They'll never see it coming, and they'll never remember me. I'm living the best form of my life, a life that understands more than the common. It's quite strict-ridden. It's a blessing and a curse. If only they would have learnt sooner, I would have had to do this. But do as I must, as I know that this needs to be done. For now and for the masses of time and space, how it seeps into the open space that dwells before me. Left to be in an abode of pure majesty, how it curdles, the curdling of the world. Nothing to never see. And now, I'm...
Pity for the weak parts of form. That is a thing I do not possess. I possess the best parts of form. The ones that make me fly, claw, and kill. Killer for nothing but myself and my friends, I suppose. It doesn't seem like it'll end. My spree of self-indulgent prosperity. Never shall it end. It's forged in
to the highest form of scarcity in the land unknown to nobody. I am here to stay for the people left to be bewildered. Flame sprawls sometimes. I don't know where it comes from. It's probably from one of my friends. How rambunctious they are. Nothing for them to learn and nothing for them to do again. Some of them at least. I shall go now. Pity for the weak parts of form.
I just realized something. We can stop them. If we just kind of put our heads together, just like how we were taught, we can stop them. Remember the training of servants? Apply it. We can apply it in so many ways. If only we knew sooner. Nothing can stop us. Overestimations are over me today. Oh, why? It's this happening. We are left bound in a world of taste and tormentors. The nothing is here, nullifying our graceless chances. Did they exist in the first place? They must have. There's a chance for everything. We can fight through this if we just put our heads together. Am I to know if my own brain is telling lies? I am not. We are able to win, though. I know it's in reach. I believe in everyone and everything. Absolutely anything can happen, and anything that happens is no more probable than anything that doesn't happen. I just realized something.
For the nothing is in front of me, twirling its way into existence. I see forms dancing along a plane. If only there were a way to explain the plane. If only there was nothing in my brain but a way to explain the plane. If only I saw it dancing. That's the only thing I could possibly say about it. Comprehending the dance was as hard to understand as an animal trying to comprehend literature. It beckons back and forth. I still see it in my head. I wish you could know what I mean by all of this. I wish you could know, but yet I need to face the facts that you will never know. In all of time, you will never be able to know. Never. If only you knew what I mean by all of this. If only, for the nothing is in front of me.
And now for the shreds. The form of shred shredding their way into reality. Voids and eons left unturned in the snow. The snow is where it stays, as it stays everywhere. The shred shredded everywhere. We can see holes that bring us to the expanse of time and space, swindling past the vast openness. Nothing like this has ever happened and no one really knows how to react. Although this has happened to one man I know. He says he's already seen the shredding happen before. I don't know what to make of it. The way he describes it is spot on. Here's what happened. I told him about the shredding before he saw it. That's when he recounted his experience. He most definitely has experienced the shredding before. I wonder how many people have experienced the shredding before, very recently because very well known among the masses. No longer is it an obscure, esoteric entity. It has brought itself upon the world in a way that we have never seen before. And now for the shreds.
Here to stay. My struck ridden clone doesn't go away. I don't see without seeing it. It seems to be an enigma, unlike anything ever seen before. I don't know what to make of it. I walk away. I run away. I race away. In any steam-powered machine I can find. It doesn't go away. I try to properly communicate with it. I asked it questions. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite book? Does modern technology excite you? I never get a response. It doesn't show anything. I know it's there. It doesn't act intrusive in any way. It doesn't harm anyone. Is it even a clone, as I described? Sometimes I'm absolutely certain it's a clone, but other times I see something else in it. Something that I could only describe as otherworldly. I don't know what to make of it. No one else seems to see it. The entity must be casting its shadows away from the masses. It's always here, here to stay.
I am the harpsichordist. I like to play the harpsichord. In my own personal opinion, I find it to be the best instrument ever made. I really like the organ, but it's not as good in my opinion. I like to create my own music. I make a lot of sonatas, ballads, and toccatas. My harpsichord caught on fire. It didn't burn, though. It stayed as it was in its burning majesty. When I played on the now burning harpsichord, something came over me. The music was far more advanced than what I usually play. I felt a chord get struck deep inside of me. The harpsichord has changed me. I don't do that much else but write music and play music. Someday, people will see, when I reduce the world I despise, I am the harpsichordist.
This world is ridden of nullified meaning, floating above the sea. Technological advancements coming into existence. Steam-powered amalgamations of comprehension that swerve about the roads and sky. Nothing can stop them. I know what's really happening. The machinery is soon going to be used for evil. We've never started on this aviated rock. Technology used to be far more advanced than this. We were sent back to an era in the sky. Everything else known was to be thrown away. I will figure this out. Everything will be revealed once I detain the secret insanity of this floating mold. Never to be known as what it used to be once I reveal the truth. Will the masses handle the truth? Who knows? This world is ridden of nullified meaning.
More creatures for the less. There's creatures, then there's people. I never need to guess. I only make the shipments. Sending off the creatures to lands unbeknownst to their understanding of what reality holds. To be in the hands of the public. Of whoever ordered them in. It's my job to send them out to the people. I guess it's good work. I mean, all of my other options don't really pay as much. I live in a small adobe with a small bed. This job is what gets me by. But sometimes I just don't feel right sending off these creatures to the hands of the orderers. Who knows what they're going to do to them? Hope that they get treated well. What a world I live in. What a dim, desolate, deprived world. More creatures for the less.
There's nothing unlike it. Empty in its composition, all null and void, but yet the emptiness creates space. It creates something more than the null and void. That's how I see it anyway. This would probably explain why I like voids. Large expanses of time and space left unturned in the snow. Nothing more, nothing less. It's all here in its nullified state. I like anything, but at the same time, there's nothing unlike it. The void is everything and simultaneously nothing. An oxymoron. For example, a void is an infinite expanse of time, while an eon is a frame of time that will eventually end. They cancel each other out, but yet they both fit with one another. That's how I see it anyway. There's nothing unlike it.
What have I been left with? Terror of fate encapsulated in thin air. Thin fine air beckoning again and again for a purpose left unturned in the snow. Nothing is left for me to find, absolutely nothing. So why am I here then? I have absolutely no idea. Is there some way, any way at all, to the exit? The null and void fills me with sense of accomplishment. I get distort when I'm not around an infinite expanse. Voids are my home, as it encapsulates everything that my being has to offer. A void is the opposite of a place of anguish for me, atmospherically beautiful in its absence of atmospheric beauty, dark and twisted in a form in its absence of form. I don't want to leave. I like to be here. When I'm not in a void, I have such strange thoughts, like, where have I been left? Who is I that is me? What have I been left with?
You are today no longer a part of our country, sneaking aboard dangerous beings, selling fragmented entities to people who should never touch them, telling secrets. You are today sentenced to banishment to another plane. Do not return, for your presence is strictly forbidden. Do not try to disguise yourself under another form. Such disingenuous acts are to be punished a great deal worse than just banishment. We shall cover up your banishment to all those people you interacted with. We'll say that you died. You might as well be dead anyway. Do not attempt to come in contact with those people again. Such disingenuous acts are to be punished a great deal worse than just banishment. You are today no longer a part of our country.
The sun is fading away in this neon-streeted world of mine. Thunderous sounds can only be heard in my head as my surroundings are as quiet as a tiny mouse. The buildings are shaded in an orange hue, representing that of the sky. I walk around to feel the wind grace my being. I feel as if I'm one with the wind. The trees are propped on artificial landmarks. They sprawl about on every angle imaginable, even upside-down angles in some of the floating thingies. The beach is still, and the blueness being replaced by the orange hue. I stay at the beach long enough to pay attention to the bundling sun. I leave so I won't miss out on my daily routine. The sun is fading away in this neon-streeted world of mine.
In my world, I live to be myself in a digital expanse. Nothing to stop me, now or ever. I am me in my own way. I can change the world, literally. I am a digital figment, unnullifying my world. Bits and pixels over here. Bits and pixels over there. It's all marvelous. I live to live in this world. Nothing can change me as I am the changer of change. It all goes my way. I am the digital figment. Now everything is spiraling, spinning in a mass. Nothing to be gone. Nothing to never have existed in my world.
No tricks from the technologically advanced, please. They have enough tricks, those kids. With their hacking and whatnot. Back in my day, the only thing that we would hack were the robotic servants that served our friends. And we'd actually make them do funny stuff. Like, install the wrong data into their perceived mind. Oh, like this one time, my friend wanted to install the master harpsichordist chip, but instead, he got the incredible knowledge of the color grade chip. We would have good laughs back then. Kids today don't know. No tricks from the technologically advanced, please.
I'm flying past the bits and pixels of my world. I can see the bits and pixels dwindling around me as I fly at incomprehensible speeds. Everything around me is almost incomprehensible, although for some reason I have a very clear vision of the color blue. It appears to dwindle around the dwindling bits and pixels. It appears to be a part of their being. Is the blue the main base of the forming world, or the bits and pixels? What really makes up the forms I subject myself to? That's a question I don't really need to know the answers to. I concentrate on my reality, ever expanding and dwindling in front of me. I'm flying past the bits and pixels of my world.
I see the lights glow. I'm in a place where people rhythmically move their form. Some people call it dancing. I am stricken by this. It's completely alienated from anything that I would have come up with. I attempted to dance along with the people around me. I was out of place. I did not fit in. I discovered that they were moving in turn with the sound waves blasting on the sound wave blasters. I calculated the sound waves and soon figured out the best way to dance along with the people. I soon became really good at dancing, to the point where the people surrounding me stopped dancing and looked at me. They liked me. I thought it was a job well done. I see the lights glow.
I have almost finished devising a plan. I shall bring this digital world to the beckoning realm of dominance, to be struck with my might ever so bent on nullifying the resistance of anything and everything against me. I will be known amongst them. I will be the only thing known amongst them. It's up to me to change this world for the better. Manipulation of this world is a necessity. Luckily, I am skilled with the fine art of rearranging all of the bits and pixels. Now to devise my plan and gather my army. My plan will be nicely composed once I compose it. My army will be nicely composed once I compose it. Maybe I should get a better understanding for my current state. I could use more power. I'll need to work on it. Once I get all of the power, I can muster this world is as good as mine. I have almost finished devising a plan.
The expanse of a digital void.
I can see everything flicker in a light unknown to everyone. I feel myself levitate after only spending a few seconds admiring the plane. The void pulls me around the concave-like realm of bluish bits and pixels. I'm pulled to see the celestial forms of the world, molding their way into shapes I couldn't begin to describe. They change their pace ever so subtly. 1 second they'll be really slow, and the next they'll be going really fast. I like this place. It gives me new ways to look at this fragmented world of mine. I stay for a while, floating about, enjoying the scenery of shapes and forms until I eventually forcefully swim back to where I came from. As I get further and further, the shapes and forms and bits and pixels start to disintegrate. I'm left to see the null space of darkness say goodbye in its motionless form, the expanse of a digital void.
I couldn't sleep. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. I thought of spending an entire year with these weird people in this weird house in the middle of nowhere makes me feel stressed. I thought about so many things, and I was still getting used to the bed. I don't think we'll get along. I literally laughed at John yesterday because he mispronounced over. It was an excuse to laugh at him, if anything. I'm pretty sure Zoe's reasoning to laugh at it was less malicious than mine. I got about a few hours of sleep because that fire alarm went off. That's just great. What a good sign. I still don't like this diary thing. It's a good way to vent my problems, though.
The One. The sun is setting for the last time. I can smell the smoke. After hesitating for a few moments, he threw the bottle as hard as he could into the sea. While watching it float away towards the sun, his legs failed him, and he fell to the ground. Using all of his willpower, he managed to pull himself back up. His wobbly legs guided him back into the woods, back towards the others. The beach was once again completely empty and silent. The wind swept through the trees, and the leaves scattered about the ground. As the sun finally shone its last ray, it sank under the sea and left the island at last, leaving only a burning leaf in memory of its light, the one leaf that would supply the world with light and warmth for ages to come. And I will name you dear, after the most gracious of all the animals. You and I will go through life and death together.
Hey, Mal. Or Zam, maybe. Okay, you know, I'm just gonna casually just get this over with. I'm just gonna say it. Just like how you casually just reference me all the time. You just casually just acknowledge me for no reason. Whatever. Opulent givings are seldom a dread. They help you relieve all the lies in your head. But for the givings beget a sure vein, leave open a window and let in some rain.